Hello, welcome. I will be talking about the Pickle War, a war that happened between two nations that could not agree on power. So, watch how people fought for power, and grab some popcorn and subscribe. Chapter 1, The Start. First, it began with nothing and no one to be claiming. But that's when the Pickle people, which is a native tribe, spawned in. They ventured through the sea and landed in an island, which they established Pickle Land. 200 years later, Pickle Land expanded across the seas, but it had a neighboring country called Pickle. They hated each other, and they just couldn't get along. But that soon would cause drama. Once the people had enough of the government, they declared independence and established West Pickle Land. And the government was not happy about this, creating the first civil war. So of course they did war. But Pickle always wanted Pickle Land, so they wanted to alliance with West Pickle Land. And of course they accepted because they needed protection. So that caused the first alliance. But Ravinia wanted to just come in for no reason and help out East Pickle Land. So they created an alliance. That was the beginning. This is now the two sides of the war. Ravinia's army sailed through the sea and arrived in East Pickle Land. They established their troops. Then they invaded and surrounded their armies. But they got rid of East Pickle Land troops and headed for Ravinia's. But with a strong army, they were able to block off. Then they continued with reinforcements. Chapter 3, Capital City. When they got through the whole mainland, they just needed to get the capital city. But with an ocean, Pickle's navy was the strongest. They tried to surround them with a wall, but they were able to push back. But West Pickle Land finally gave up and joined East, reuniting Pickle Land. But this made Pickle Land very broke because they used all of the government money on the war. So of course they doubled the taxes.